Hello, and welcome to Talkin Table Top 5. First try. I'm Trevor. Joining me, as always, Danny. If you watched our top 20, 25-ish videos, welcome back. This time we are getting into the top 5 categories for games. So we are going to start off at number 5. This week we are covering Euro games. So my number 5 is Five Tribes by Days of Wonder. Great kind of Mancala movement mechanic. It's all got, an Arabian Nights theme. Really fun artwork. You get to recruit genies, and who doesn't want to have a bunch of genies working for you? And slaves.
I do. Well, that's true. I mean, I'm glad that they changed it to the 5 years, right?
Now it's the Snake Charmers.
Yeah, the Snake Charmers. Yeah, yeah. It's ironic that you put the top 5, number 5.
Yeah.
As 5 tribes.
Yes.
Yeah. Good game. Just, did you do that on purpose?
No.
Okay.
I wish I had now.
Yeah. Now you didn't even notice it until now. Okay. I like it. So my top 5, and Euro is really my specialty. So I'm going back with an old one, Caylus. Caylus is an amazing game where you guys are all working, building a castle, building a bunch of buildings that eventually will expand the resources. But everybody kind of has to use each other's buildings. So if I own it and you need to use it, well, you got to use it, and I'm going to charge you for it. And that's what's great about it. And then the timer being the character, it's a little piece of wood called the provost, and it's the most annoying piece in all of board games, easily. You get to kind of bribe him to move up or down this track as it's going, and only stuff behind him is going to activate. So even if you've spent all this time building these buildings along this track, if you just want to be a jerk, you can move him back, and that's not going to get activated for a number of turns. It's mean. It's great. I love it. It's so good. There's a kind of a mini co-op style thing where everybody has to kind of work towards the castle at some point, because if you don't, you get negative points, and it's just
Who makes Caylus?
Istari is the company that publishes it. Consortium. I think Rio Grande Games.
Look them up.
Yeah, it's been around for years. It's one of the first worker placement games, which is what's great about it. Yeah. So number 4.
Number 4. My number 4 is I guess kind of a little bit also drafting style-ish game. Splendor. It is by Asmodee. I know is the parent company. I don't remember exactly
Space
which
Cowboys.
company. Was it Space Cowboys?
Yep.
Okay.
That was their big hit.
There you go, Space Cowboys. So you are gem merchants, essentially. You're taking gem chips to purchase new mines and things to essentially craft better gems to garner royals to your
Don't try and
merchant
explain the theme.
Yeah.
There's no theme.
Yeah.
It's all mechanisms, but it works beautifully.
Yeah.
It really does.
It's
some
pretty
colors,
art,
you're good.
but yeah, it's fun. You get to
Yeah.
be a jeweler, essentially. I imagine that's how it is.
Yeah, sure.
I've seen Blood Diamonds. It's exactly like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. Speaking of Blood Diamonds, Alhambra, which has nothing to do with Blood Diamonds, it's a game where you are building your own little Alhambra building. There's a couple rules for placement, but the game really comes out when you're working with the money. That's what's great about it, because you could pick up any of the banknotes, and there's 4 different currencies. There's 4 different colors. You could pick up any banknote you want as your hand, and you could build it as much as you want, and then you can use those to purchase the corresponding ones. Or you could get any combination of them that total up to 5 of the currency. So I can get a 1, another 1, and a 2, and that would be it. And what's cool is that when you're buying these buildings, you could actually kind of combo it by spending. If you spend exact change to buy one building, well, then you get an opportunity to buy another. And I've seen people buy all 4 buildings that are available in one turn, and it's so great when that happens.
And then it also becomes almost like a tile placement kind of game where you have to line up walls versus the different types of buildings.
Because you always have to have access.
Certain groupings and things will work out better.
Yeah, exactly. There's some ways to mitigate it if you don't place it right the first way, but really it's all about the money. It's so good how that works. I love it every time I play it.
Alhambra, check that one out. Number 3 for me, I think it's a pretty obvious choice. Ticket to Ride. Of course, if you don't know what a Euro game is, most people I say you've played a Euro game, and they're like, I don't know, which one was it? Like, have you played Ticket to Ride?
Yeah,
That's it. So train placement game. I actually it helped me learn the map of Europe with Ticket to Ride Europe.
Yeah, it's technically educational that way, isn't it?
And some languages, because all of the different cities are written in their native languages. So I'm like, I'm going over here to Stromsborg? I don't even know where that is. Sweden!
You might as well play Markland and or like the Norway maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's it can become a tad bit confusing on some of the European maps. My favorite, of course, is just the U.S. map, because that's the one I'm most familiar with. But also a lot of fun in the upgrade department. If you like upgrading board games, lots of people make different plastic trains, and there's train meeples. You can get
custom maps.
Custom maps like someone did Emerald City, which I thought was a Wizard of Oz one. Come to find out, Seattle. Disappointed.
Yeah.
But still good map. So Ticket to Ride, Days of Wonder. Check that one out as well. I just noticed there is 2 Days of Wonder games in my top 5.
Yeah, there is.
Good job, Days of Wonder.
Yeah. No, that Ticket to Ride's an excellent choice. I just don't know why I don't consider it a Euro game, because it's one of my favorite games of all time. Mm-hmm. It's just when I guess I'm going for a Euro feel, I'm going for worker placement, resource management, which goes into the next one, number 3, Stone Age. Stone Age is one of the best games. You're technically just rolling dice trying to get resources, which a lot of people don't like because it's really random. Yeah. But you can mitigate it by the number of people you send out is the number of dice. And of course, the more valuable the resource, that's what you're going to get. And there's a couple other things. There's the shack where you get more workers. There is...
making babies.
Yeah, pretty much. Putting them straight to work. And then there's a cornfield to mitigate how much things you have to pay, different buildings. It's really cool. I just love how it works together. And just that chance of, maybe I'm going to get enough resources, I don't know, roll dice and see what happens.
It's one of those games that if you're really good at dice rolling, your strategy doesn't even have to be that strong, because you just are able to get exactly what you need.
But if you're awful at dice rolling, you could still win with a good strategy.
Then I have to have a good strategy and pour all of my meeples into this one thing, which is usually the shack. Make babies.
Yep.
It's the most fun that way. So, Stone Age was... so my number 2 is a game by Level 99 Games, and that is Argent, the Consortium. Really, really cool worker placement game. It's essentially... imagine this entire table was filled with options of places where you could put your little wizard minis. And each of these things had different opportunities that it could hold for you. Now imagine, if you will, the theme is essentially you're at Hogwarts. But not really. It's similar to, but legally distinct from. Yeah. And the headmaster is retiring, and someone else is going to take his job. So you, as one of the heads of the 6 schools of magic, I believe, with the expansion.
6 with the expansion, 5 regular.
Are essentially warring to get votes from the board, basically, to find out exactly who is going to take over as the new headmaster. Get to cast lots of good spells. That's how you can have amazingly chained turns like I've had. Even when we did play it correctly for well played.
When we didn't play it correctly, it was absurd.
The first time we played it
correctly, you still got really good combos.
First time we played it, we overlooked a rule and it caused an infinite loop. The second time when we played it for well played, where you've also seen this before, we were following the rules and I still destroyed people by chaining spells because that's my strategy. We're at a school of magic. I'm gonna use magic.
No, it makes sense.
I'm going to hoard money. Okay, go work at a bank.
What I really like about Argent is the fact that I remember when the owner of the company was telling me about this, I told him, I was like, oh, I love Euro games. He's like, you need to try our Euro game. And he showed it to me. I was like, that's not a Euro game. That's not how that works. Euro games are bland and boring, and they don't have theme.
Yeah.
They're just
And
mechanisms.
he's
That's all
like-
it is. He's like, no, we fixed that. And
We
so he
found
showed me
how to
this
make it
game.
interesting.
Yeah, and there's just so many options. It seems almost too much, but once you wrap your head around it, you're just like, oh, this is so cool. I love how I could just break
Harry
things.
Potter, anime, worker placement. They get in the Stone Age shack and make a baby.
In the Stone Age shack. Yeah, exactly. Get that third meeple of a board game there.
There you go.
So my number 2 is the complete opposite theme wise of Argent. You are a guy building buildings at nobles at
Lords.
It's called Castles of Burgundy. It's such a great mechanistic game.
You can do so many things. You roll 2 dice, and you're taking 2 actions based on those dice. And it could be anything from shipping goods, getting buildings to build onto your map, buying them from the market, and every time you build a building on your map, you get a special ability, or you score in a special way that is completely different than everything else that's on the map. And as you're building your map, if you complete different things, it's kind of like a mini race as you're going along. If I complete all my blue sections, which is the water sections, then I get bonus points for the tiles. There's so many ways to get points and so many ways to combo it.
It looks dreadful when you first see it. It's one of those like dudes on like an angry
Yeah.
dude on the front, which is Caylus also.
Yeah.
Man,
Bit of a theme.
yeah, a bit of a theme in Euro games, absolutely. But it just works so well. It looks insanely complicated, but when you figure out, oh, you only do 2 actions based on the numbers. That's it. It's like, oh, wow.
The nice thing about it is that because there are so many different strategies,
Yeah.
you don't run into the problem like a lot of worker placement games can have where someone takes the action you want. I know like Lords of Waterdeep has
yeah.
that problem.
Yeah.
Stone Age
It'll
can
lock
tend to
them
have
out.
that where someone can block you out of what you really need
Yeah.
for the turn.
Yeah.
This one, because there are so many different options open to you, there's always kind of, you may not get exactly the thing you wanted, but you can find something close
Yes.
to it.
You always have that ability. Like in a lot of dice games, you roll dice like, oh, didn't roll what I need.
Yeah.
Your turn. No, no matter what, you always have something you could do. You could just trade the dice in for workers to modify later on. So if nothing else, it's perfect. But anyway, that's my number 2, Castles of Burgundy by Stefan Feld. Awesome game. By Alea, I think, is the publisher.
Nice.
So,
Number 1. So my number 1 all-time favorite Euro game. I'm a huge fan of Japanese themed games. If the anime style of Argent was not a tip off to that, Tokaido by I believe it's Funforge.
Antoine
It
Bauza.
is Antoine Bauza. It was the second or third Antoine Bauza game that I played of his.
Yeah.
And it was because the first one was Rampage, the second one was Seven Wonders, and then along comes Tokaido, and I'm thinking
You
like,
didn't play Takenoko before that?
I don't believe so. Oh no, you know what I did? So
Oh.
Tokaido was the 4th Antoine Bauza game that I have played, and yeah, it is drastically different from any of his other games because it's totally calm and serene. And unless you have those ultra competitive people that, let's be honest, they shouldn't be playing Tokaido in the first place.
Yeah. Won't help them.
It's like it's the let's be friends again game. So you've spent, your game night playing a game of Munchkin where you're stabbing everyone in the back and everyone hates each other and you never want to be friends again, and then you break out Tokaido and it's like, oh, that was kind of relaxing. Like you can hear like the Zen music in the background as you're playing it almost.
Yep.
Going to hot springs and eating at the inns, meeting different
travelers.
people along the road,
Shopping.
praying at temples, shopping, and then the expansion added. We'll get into that in a later video. So number 1.
So my number 1, the best Euro game of all time, in my opinion, invented the meeple. Need I say more? It invented the meeple. That's where it came from. Carcassonne. You have just a small set of 7 characters, and you're building the board. You put them on there, you score some points for it, and you're building the board. You're placing a tile every turn, and that's it. And you have a choice whether you want to place a meeple on one of the features, either a road, a village, or the farm,
Yeah.
or a cloister if there's one of those.
Or a city if there's one of those.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them are situational if it's on the tile.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can only place on that tile.
Yeah.
And that's all you have to do. And it's so amazing how you can combo off of everything. Because you can't place one of your characters in a situation where you'd be in the same feature as something else. So if you have a meeple in the city, I can't connect a city piece and put one in there. But
you can start your own city next to it, place your meeple there, and then work your way
into it. And just that backhandedness of meandering your way onto other people's features is just what makes that so fun. It's beautiful.
One of the few board games in which I've played in digital app form that is as fun as the actual tabletop game.
Yeah, I almost exclusively play it on my phone now because it's just easier to set up that way.
It's so much easier to calculate points. Just be like, all right, computer, take care of this.
Yeah.
I don't
While
want
you're
to count.
scoring, we're going to sit back and...
What am I, some mathematician?
Yeah, right? Who needs it? But yeah, that's my number one, Carcassonne by Rio Grande Games. Or was Rio Grande Games, now it's Z-Man.
Yes.
And yeah.
These games change companies frequently, so if you're watching this in the future and it's not produced by these people anymore, well, then...
We're not going to go back in time and fix it.
Go back in time. The future is now. It's up to you. If you can dream it, just do it.
It's awfully inspirational message for themeless
Make
games.
your dreams come true.
Yeah, believe, and play mechanisms while you're at it, and don't worry about theme.
There you go. So that was Talkin Table Top 5 Euro Games Edition. Join us next week when we are going to be covering a different topic.
Thank you. Inspirational message for themeless
Make
games.
your dreams come true.
Yeah, believe, and play mechanisms while you're at it, and don't worry about theme.
There you go. So that was Talkin Table Top 5 Euro Games Edition. Join us next week when we are going to be covering a different topic.
Thank you.